Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Trilla Da Vinci. What's up, man?
How's it going, man?
Chilling. I'm doing great, man.
No doubt, no
So,
doubt, man.
I breezed through the internet and your music caught my attention, the graphics that you use and all that. And I wanted to give you a chance to come on my show and tell the people your story and how you got to be where you're at in life, man.
No doubt, no doubt. Definitely appreciate it, man. Definitely
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Before we get started, make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And you can get his links. They'll be in the description of this video. So first off, you want to introduce yourself to the people and tell them where you were born and raised and all that stuff?
No doubt, man. I go by Trilla Da Vinci, Okarike, aka Trilla Da Vinci. I was actually born in Nigeria. I was raised in Savannah, Georgia, and currently I'm living in Atlanta, Georgia.
When did you come to the United States?
Oh man, I came very young. I came when I was 3 years old. Yeah, so I
So
pretty much lived here most of my life. Yeah.
yeah, so your early memories are from being in the States.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So what was your early life like?
Oh man, I mean, just adapting to I came over when I was 3, so just adapting to a new environment, new lifestyle. Grew up, typical immigrant family, household. So had a lot of examples of hard work, just persevering, overcoming odds. I had a great example from my father of how hard work and dedication and taking care of your family and things like that. So that pretty much was what was interwoven into my being from a young age.
Yeah, so you used that as you were growing. When did you first start getting into music and stuff?
Oh man, I've always had a love for music. Even probably since I was like, I think my fifth birthday. I always tell the story. I got like a keyboard for my fifth birthday and started playing around with it. Started listening to rap music right around that same time. And started writing real little rhymes and poems of my own. So it's been pretty much with me most of my life. My younger age, I was more on the creative side, so I love to draw. So I draw comic books and things like that. But as I got older, the music started taking over that, and that became more of my main focus.
Was it hard for you to like perform in front of people at first?
Yeah, I had my very first performance I did, and it was like at a open mic or and I didn't. It wasn't hard. I just didn't know what to do. So I was kind of like up there, kind of in my own world, head down, not really looking at the crowd.
Don't
So
know what to do with your hands, right?
yeah, I didn't even know you were supposed to do anything with your hands. So I just kind of like it, just looking down and doing my song, and the crowd liked the song. But the guy that was hosting it, he came to me and said, that song was dope, but if you get your performance together, you go to the next level. So that what made me start paying attention and watching the other artists and seeing what they do. And I noticed it was just kind of like just acting out the things that you're talking about. So once I got that, then it was on.
How old were you when that took place, the first performance?
Um, I was I was still a teenager, probably like 17, 18. Yeah.
So so after that, what did you release music before that one? Before that first performance?
Yeah, just little tapes around the neighborhood, cassette tapes around the neighborhood, to the people, friends, my friends growing up, things like that. So, and I believe one of those songs off one of those tapes is what I performed. Yeah.
Yeah, so what was it like when you first got your music onto a CD?
Onto a CD.
Yeah.
I mean, it was dope, man. It was dope. Growing up, just looking at artists that we liked and that we loved, and just having something of your own that kind of resembled what they had. It was, of course, it was a little rush that you got from that. You kind of felt like you just joined the club, you joined the party. So it was pretty dope.
Yeah. So when you're coming up as a musician, you got to put your talent, you got to put finances. You got to have a budget. Like a lot of people don't understand. They think, oh, I'm gonna make it big. Like people are just gonna keep handing you stuff, and it really doesn't work that way. And I think people have a false perception of what making it really is and what it entails. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. And I was one of those people when I first, started doing it. You
Me
know,
too.
just hearing you just hear so many stories of, at least in our time, you know, this person got discovered, that person got discovered. So it kind of puts into your head that that's kind of the route that's going to happen for like these people just out there waiting and looking to discover the next undiscovered talent, waiting and looking to discover the next dope artist. You know what I'm saying? When a lot of times that's not really the case. You know, as artists, we got to make our own way. You know, we got to do a. So it's not just about having talent. So that's one of the main lessons that I learned. It's not just about having talent. You have to do things strategically to make sure that you put your own talent, in front of people and in front of fans. You know what I'm saying? Don't get so caught up in just put your talent in front of the labels or the gatekeepers, people who might put you in a certain position. You know what I'm saying? Who may or may not put you in a certain position. Understand it as an artist. The main goal is to get across to these fans, and build a fan base and reach the listener. And so if you put yourself in a place where you're waiting for one of them to give you permission to reach these fans, or for one of them to put you in position to reach these fans, then you could wait your whole career away. So it's on you to take that initiative to start reaching out to the fans and make that your focus. You know what I'm saying? And they'll catch up when they catch up.
You know, I started with music. I was a musician at first. I wanted to be a rapper, and then I switched over into podcasting, and then it started to get successful. So, I mean, I still had that music bug, but I kind of switched my gears into podcasting because that's where it's a lot more comfortable for me, and this is
Yeah.
just where I'm into it now. But I've dealt with a lot of things in the past, and you could tell me if maybe you dealt with similar situations. Like, um, I paid for studio time, and the whole label ended up getting money from all these people and closing down and taking the money and taking off. And I've been ripped off by promoters. Have you dealt with stuff like this?
Oh yeah, most definitely, most definitely. My first record label type situation was one of those type of situations, where I got signed by somebody who was who he got his label deal based on a certain act that signed to him, and they gave an advance to the label based on that certain act. They gave financing to the label based on that certain act, but the middleman, or I can't remember if he was the manager or whatever, took the money and left. So I basically got signed to a broke label at that point. You know what I'm saying? So the things that they promised and put in the contract, they weren't able to deliver.
Because the
So
dude already took the money that was supposed to be for that. He already
yes,
left.
yes, yes, that was supposed to be
Uh,
for that situation, and that was gone. So imagine going from that much of a high to that much of a low. You know what I'm saying? So because that's something, as an artist coming up, that's what we work our whole lives on for. At that point was to get signed, to get a deal. So that was one disappointing situation. But there's been a lot of them. There was one situation I found out about after the fact that there was A&R for a major label, a female A&R for a major label who was looking to sign me, to basically just give me a shot. And a guy who was acting as my manager, who really wasn't even signed as my manager, he was just kind of, pretending to be my manager. He was put me on a couple of shows, but he wasn't officially my manager. We had signed no contract. But once he found this out, that she was looking to sign me, instead of putting me in that situation, because she was basically taking a chance. I was an unknown artist, but it was just a chance to see if you know I could take off or not. But he saw that and saw dollar signs. So he never introduced me. He was like, he told her that, hey, before, if you want to get this artist, I need such and such $1 million. Like it doesn't work.
What?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah. So
man.
yeah, so that's a situation I found out about after the fact, and that was a missed opportunity for me. Um, just different things like that. I did have one situation where I was dealing with a company that I wrote a song. I wrote a song for a female artist, and the radio station, our local radio station, the program director heard the song, and he was blown away by it. So he connected me to some people he knew, who used to be at a major label, but they started their own company. So what they were doing, I didn't know at the time. What they were doing, they were using my song basically as the demo track to shop. You know what I'm saying? So I was a rapper, so I wasn't very familiar with that side of things, as far
Yeah.
as writing for other people and doing demo songs and things like that. So I was more like, okay, you rap, they like your song, they give you a deal. So I didn't know too much about the ghostwriting and things like that. But they loved the song, and they shopped it to one of their artist connects, who at that time had started a label, and this guy was like, at the time, he was one of the most popular artists in the game. He was like on everybody's music at the time. So I really don't want to put his name out there, but he had a female group, because the song that I wrote was for a female. He had a female group that he was looking to put out, and he heard the song and he loved it. He wanted it for his female group, but unfortunately, the female group, things fell apart on his end, and he never ended up putting the group out. So that was another situation that was like so close to being in the door, but not in the door. So they wanted to sign a publishing deal, but it was contingent on him picking up that song. And since he didn't pick up the song, that also fell through. So
A lot of things go like that, man. People don't know all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And down there in Atlanta, I'm sure you're around a lot of people that are in the music game. Do you remember the first time you met somebody who's influential in the music game?
yeah, actually, when I was living in Savannah was probably the first time I ended up doing a song with Freeway from Rockefeller, Philadelphia Freeway. Yeah,
Yeah,
so he was
shout out to Freeway, man.
yeah, so he was in town doing a show, and one of my partners had reached out and just to him at the time, and well, to his management, and try to get just seeing what it took to get him on the song. And he gave us a fair price, and we ended up when he came back in that area again, coming through to the studio and laying a track. So that was actually my first feature with a major artist, and that was pretty dope situation.
Oh yeah, man. That's Rick Ross, man. I mean, Freeway Ricky Ross, man.
Yeah,
The state property and all
yeah,
that. I remember
exactly,
when they were.
exactly. So that was dope, man. And then on his verse, he started off his verse shouting me out.
Yeah.
It's Philly
Oh man.
PMI, because I went by PMI at the time. So I was like, oh man. So that had me geek. You know what I'm saying? So the
Yeah.
local station was playing that song like in the mix shows consistently. So that was a dope situation right there.
Do you notice things start to change for you a little bit once you start getting features like that and you're rubbing shoulders with some major people? Do you notice that people around you are treating you a little different?
Well, kind of well, that was when I was living in Savannah, and at the time I was already kind of like a local celebrity at the time. So that was more like icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Um, when coming to Atlanta is kind of where I was went from being like a big fish in a small pond to just being amongst so many other people who were so much more accomplished than me. So that was kind of like starting back over. And here it still hasn't gotten to the point where at least on the music side, it's starting to get there on the music side, where it's like, okay, you know I can't even say it's going to get there because here in Atlanta, that's who I've been connecting with. So it's not like I have I didn't grow up here, so it's not like I have a bunch of people who grew up with me, here,
Yeah,
who are seeing things change for me. The people who I've met here are in the industry. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing different. Now the people back home, even though I'm not around them, on a daily basis, yeah, definitely the people back home are definitely even more hype, especially now that we're doing this movie thing.
yeah,
Now that I'm writing, directing, and producing movies, coming from a smaller town, they're some of the biggest, hype men about that whole situation. So I saw that when we went down and did our premiere, because we did a premiere one up here in Atlanta, and then we went back down to our hometown and did a movie premiere um, for our first independent film project that I did. Is called Out on a Limb. It's starring Jamal Gravy Willard, who played Biggie on Notorious.
yeah.
Um,
That's what caught
yeah,
my eye, man. Was the
exactly.
movie?
It's starring Trey Chaney as well, who's on BMF right now. Most people know him as Poop from The Wire. He's also on
Yeah.
Saint Sinners. So being able to come down there and premiere that was real dope. People came out, supported. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, if they hadn't treated me like it went from being treated like a local celebrity to just really being just treated like a celebrity. So that was pretty dope.
Takes a lot to get something like that done, man. We were just talking about that last night. I had a show, and we were talking about who puts the people in place to be a director for a movie. They do. Nobody else does that. Nobody came to you and said, "Hey, I'm gonna put you in this
Yeah,
role,"
yeah, exactly.
unless they did. Unless I'm wrong,
No,
right?
no, it didn't, man. It was kind of same situation. Like I said, you can't wait on nobody. It was kind of the same situation. I wrote the script. I was inspired to write the script from being in a long line situation, trying to audition for something. I was like, man, I didn't want to be in another waiting game type rat race type situation, because I already went through that for so long with the music. Just
Yeah.
the open mics with 100 artists, long line. You know what I'm saying? Where so just waiting to perform, to hope somebody might be in the crowd who may possibly do something to kind of sort of maybe help you. You know what I'm saying? Type situation. So being in that line, I was like, it felt like another rat race. And a guy came up and he was like, man, I was just here to drop off this script. And he kind of got in his car and left. But him saying that, what I'm saying, a light bulb went off now, and I went home and I started immediately working on the script, because I was like, that's bringing value in a different way. You know what I'm saying? Bringing value as an actor, there's so many of them, but it's just like only one person came up with an actual script. So I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I need to be that person. You know what I'm saying? And I've always, wanted to write one, and knowing that I could write one. It was just a matter of doing it. So I went home, spent a whole weekend on it. I think I was locked in. I probably had like 60 pages
Wait,
done.
you did that in a weekend?
Yeah, I probably had like the 60. Yeah, I had pretty much the whole 60 pages done in that
What?
weekend. And after that, it was just kind of building it, making it little. So it ended up like 90 pages when I was done. So yeah, that's just
Oh, I got mine right here, man. I've been working. I've been working on it for about 8 months now.
yeah, yeah. I
You know what I'm
heard
saying?
I heard so many stories of people saying that I'm working on a script for a year, or I've been working on it for this many months. And but when I started writing, it was like I was just in the zone. It was almost felt like I was just watching the movie in my head and just writing down everything I saw. You know what I'm saying? It just came that fast. But
Did
writing.
you did you write the conversations as you wrote the scenarios,
Yes, yes,
everything together?
yes, yes,
Like,
yes. And
wow.
that's one of my strengths. Well, that's one of I can that's one of the things I enjoy writing the most is conversation. So that was real fun and real easy for me. I still want to develop and get better at writing the technical aspects as far as like,
Maybe you can help me with mine, man.
yeah, as far as like, or at least spend so, because I it's not that I can't, it's just that I love the conversation so much that I spend more time doing that than when it comes to just describing like the scene or describing what's the environment. I just want to get to when the people start talking and
I'm in
really
character
start.
development. I have my
Yeah,
characters
yeah,
set
and
out, and
yeah, because that's what it was. My first project, it was a very, very character driven movie, and I just like writing character driven pieces, So and it's like when I was in school, I used to get these in these long writing essay projects, you know what I'm saying, and I'd always procrastinate. Then I'd wake up, have to be at school at 9 o'clock. I wake up at 6 a.m. and just start writing
writing it, right?
and
Yeah.
writing. But I'd always get A's. I always get A's. So that's how I knew, that okay, this is, you know, a gift for me. But of course, as a rapper, as an artist, writing is going to be a gift. So,
Let me
so
guess this. You left-handed?
no, I'm right-handed. I'm right-handed.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you would be left-handed, man, with all the talent that you have.
Oh man, yeah, yeah.
A lot of
I have heard that. I have
lot
heard.
of talented people are left-handed.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you out in Atlanta when all this when King Von got killed and different things like that were going on out there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was in the city. I wasn't out at the time. I think I hadn't been going out as much, especially since COVID, and really, especially since I transitioned more into doing the film. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So film is like a different world. So music, I was a lot more into the nightlife. So now that I'm doing film, is more the day life, which is fine with me. You know what I'm saying? So
It's a little less dangerous,
yeah,
right?
yeah, definitely a little less dangerous, and I like something about just getting up early and getting out and starting to, just it's just that vibe early in the morning when everybody just getting to it. You know what I'm saying? When getting up
Yeah.
to business and getting to work and getting to these meetings and getting to, I love that vibe. So I
Yeah.
love it a lot more than I like the late night vibe. Anyway, so
So, but when you did have the late night vibe and you always going out to like promote and things like that, were there any situations that happened that really stand out in your mind that you can explain?
um, I mean, of course, there's always going to be those situations, all over the place. You go out to country towns and you know and around clubs and alcohol and people getting into it and stuff always going down. But by God's grace, I've never gotten hurt or in any of those in all my years of constantly going out late at night, club that, this club that. I've seen a lot of situations go down, but I've always been protected. So that's a blessing.
Yeah, man, because it's out of control right now. I think out there, people and
Yeah, yeah,
it's,
definitely. It's definitely getting worse, and that's why I'm thankful for this transition. I still love music and I still do music, but I like now it's more on my own terms, so it's not like I'm not going. And plus, now you have the internet. It's like you could market
it's the
directly.
world at your fingertips, man.
Exactly. You can market directly to your fans. You don't have to go out to these clubs looking to get into the ear of these so-called gatekeepers all the time anymore. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's a lot more effective now because if you really think about it, like trying to introduce your music to a bunch of drunk people. You know what I'm saying? It's like, are they
Yeah.
really going to remember that? You know what I'm saying? Are they going to sober up and be like, hey, that song I heard last night that I kind of like? Let me go look it up and
Yeah.
remember the name of the song or remember the name of the artist or remember any of that. You know what I'm saying? But on their phone, they have a direct link to that
They hear
person.
the phone and then they go to the club and hear it. They're like, "Oh, that's
Yeah,
that
yeah,
singing
exactly,
girl."
exactly. So it's just about taking a different approach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Taking a different approach.
So now that you have that movie and the raps, did you have distribution for it and everything? Is it playing? Can people see it now?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's called Out on a Limb, and it's and right now it's on Tubi. Amazon Prime is up next, but for the moment, right now it's just on Tubi. And it's spelled LIM, so it's Out on a Limb, and we spelled it like that on purpose because the main character in the movie, his name is Lim or Lemmy or Lim, so we kind of did a play off of his name. So yes, it's on Tubi right now, man. It's doing real well. The numbers are looking amazing. We're actually gearing up to do our next film project, which would be the second project. So we're doing a casting call for that this week, later on this week on Thursday, up here in Atlanta. So yeah,
Or
man.
do people send it in remotely? Can they send their videos in remotely too?
Yeah, we did that for the last project. We had sides up and we just let people send in videos, but for this one, we just kind of wanted to do something different. So we're just doing the in person for this one. You know,
Yeah.
later on down the line, we may do some more remote, but right now we're just doing the in person for this one.
I'll put a link for the Tubi video for the movie in the description of this video. So
So,
what's the next project you got, and what does the future look like for you for the music and for the movies?
oh man, the next movie project is it's called The Stop and Shop. And of course, we're gonna do a part two to the Out on the Limb. Everybody who's seen part one has been asking us, man, y'all got to do a part two. When's part two coming out? So those are the two things that are on the table. We actually got a few more projects on the table on top of that. But those are the two that I'm kind of at liberty to discuss right now.
Yeah,
As far as the music, man, it's just I'm just in a place where I'm back to doing it for the love of it. You know what I'm saying? So just whenever I feel like doing it, I'm doing it and just putting it out. So I might just randomly drop a single just out the blue, like just whenever. You know what I'm saying? Whenever I feel.
are you doing the soundtrack for the movie too?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Even on the first project, a lot of my songs were on the soundtrack, but I also took the opportunity to give, other artists opportunities. So I put some music from some other artists as well, onto that soundtrack and within the score of that movie. So it's still the same routine. Going to do the same thing this time around. Put a little bit of me, put a little bit of other people. Yeah.
Like, so do you reach out and put a thing on the internet like I'm looking to get people for this movie, or do you just go and find the people?
Oh no, I do it on the internet. So if for I don't know if you're gonna put a link, but it's on my Instagram. If you go on Trilla Da Vinci, always posting anytime we're looking for whether we're looking for people to be in a cast, whether we're looking for music to be in the film, whether we're looking for different jobs within the crew of our sets, movie sets, whether it's videographers, whatever we need, we're always constantly posting. So that's a good place to stay updated in real time. You know what I'm saying, and get the quickest update of what we're looking for when we're looking for it. So just
Definitely,
turn on the notifications.
yeah, man, I'll put a link for your Instagram in the description of this video too.
So,
And I can't wait to see the rest, man. I'm excited for the future for you, and sky's the limit, man.
no doubt, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you so much for reaching out, man. I definitely cherish all these type of opportunities whenever they come along. So I'm just glad you saw something, and reached out. So I'm happy to be here, man.
Definitely, and make sure you guys go check out his movie Out on a Limb, and the link will be in the description of this video. His Instagram link will be down there too. And go follow him, go support him, check out his music, and watch the movie, man. And sky's the limit, man. You already know.
No doubt,
And
man. Appreciate it, man. And
yeah,
shout out to my co-executive, my wife, Regina. Shout out to her. She's my co-executive producer on these film projects, man. So you follow me, you could look in the bio and find out the different links to the different movies and things that we're doing as well. So
that's dope, man. And I'm gonna put a sample of your music and whatever else you send me so people can check it out. And if you guys like this type of content, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. Till next time. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.